Station. And I know it's been a couple of weeks, but well, it's been
We
off and
did
on
say
holiday season.
we did
Um,
say we'd see them next year.
yeah, it is. It is 2024, everybody. Um,
Woo!
let me see. Let me finish something here real quick. Uh, right. So we start, let's go ahead and start. We get like the opening title sequence. So we get like the dredge system. We get the three planets with like, their various moons. And we get and as we're sort of moving through, like we move past, we see the station, this big wheel hanging in space that's just like got, some ships coming and going here and there. And, and and we get like the fly down underneath the station, and like as we pass by the wrench that's sort of like welded into the frame in a corner, and then back up on the other side we get the big logo, the freewheel station. And maybe we cut to black, and when we come back up we're following a shuttle. Or actually we're following a light freighter. Um, and as this sort of light freighter, like, and we see that this light freighter is coming from like a larger ship, um, clearly like something with a constellation drive in it. Um, but they're coming from this ship, across to the station, and we see this thing as it docks. Um, and as it's docking, we kind of like get the noise. We kind of get like the wipe screen that comes to the inside of the station, and we see like some people getting off here and there, and we see Ninvas trying to, sort of like regulate who, take information down, check everybody in and whatnot. And he's just this human that's super friendly, male that's just super friendly and what have you. And he's just like, um and we get like the impression that there's quite a bit of business, and we see sort of in the background, um we see a couple of like we see, damn it, no, I need that name. Do where is it? We see Captain Tawi and her crew, sort of like standing around kind of like, near the docking area. They don't seem to be like doing anything in particular in the hallway. They're just sort of like there talking for the moment. We see the Patra woman and her crew, her her Knoll, first mate, Gnawbone standing with her. Um, and then we're kind of like get this moment. Um, we get like the noise and the busyness and the bustling and whatnot. Um, Mira, are you back at your computer?
That I am.
Excellent. So as the camera swings back around and we see a few people getting, we see like the captain, like a couple of people getting off of the ship, including what looks like the captain of the ship. And we see some crew members like disembark and whatnot. And then we see like a guy who clearly dressed like he's probably the captain of the ship. And he's just kind of like, and he's like, well, he goes, we're here. He goes, me and the crew, we got our business to take care of. You're on your own. And with that, like he kind of like moves through the checkpoint, like stopping in with this human that's taking names. He's got his data laid out, whatnot, and kind of like taking down information. And it's your first chance to get to look around, and maybe we get like the tight screenshot, um, of Temerity. And Mira, would you like to describe what Temerity looks like and what
Yeah.
her attitude is as she steps onto the deck of Freewheel Station for the first time?
So I think Temerity stands at like 4 foot nothing. Cannot weigh more than 90 pounds. has kind of like elf ears going on and kind of like shoulder length blonde hair, and then this like green suit with gold stitching all across it that form on the tie into the symbol of Abadar, the key of Abadar on the tie. And as she kind of steps off of the ship, she her eyes kind of very acutely dart around the station, kind of drinking in all of the environment and all of the people. How many people are there around?
So you're in the docking area. So the crew of the ship, the freighter that you're disembarking from, they're kind of like they're all sort of like coming off, except for the pilot who's supposed to take the ship back out and wait for everybody to be done. Because there's a limited amount of docking ports here at this
Mm-hmm.
point. Um, you know, but as far as it goes, there's another crew of people like hanging around. They're very obviously ne'er do wells. There's a Patra woman and a knoll standing there with like a few other species of creatures. They're very clearly wearing weapons very openly and casually. And there's a moment where like, and you see a dwarf woman, come
Oh
stomping up,
God.
and she's like, and there's a moment where like she bumps into like the knoll on her way by, or at least goes to push past him, but the knoll turns around and growls at her, and she's like, "Oh, give it a break, you big fucking dog, you big puppy. What are you going to do?" And there's a bit of growling, and the Patra woman is like, "No, no, Gnawbone. You know what happened last time you were here and you tried to break the rules. Because, because besides, we don't want to be bothered. We don't want to cause any more trouble for our hosts now, do we?" And she kind of like looks at then Gnawbone kind of looks at her for a moment and growls some more. And takes a moment. She goes, "Let me talk to her." And she kind of like walks over to the dwarf woman and he says, "If I might have a moment of your time, perhaps we can rectify this situation." And he like kind of like says, "If I might talk to you over here," and like goes and kind of like drags her off to the side to talk for a minute and whatnot. You're fairly certain that there's some exchange of credits that happens.
Hmm.
Um, the
Oh yeah.
like you're fairly certain that there's some like some shit going on. But all in all, there's not a ton of people here. Like this is, just the people who, are getting
Work
ready
here.
to well, the people that work here, the people that are getting ready to board the next shuttle or freighter out, or, the people who just got done disembarking this ship or the last one. So there's like maybe eh, 20 people in here at the moment, including the Patra woman and her crew. Um, Most of them don't look like they're, particularly, I mean, it's a varied group of people, of species, people, but none of them look like they're, nearly as comfortable as this group is. But you
Uh
get up to you get up
yeah,
to the,
Temerity
sorry.
Uh,
is yeah, I think Temerity is going to take in a deep breath and kind of like puff her chest up a little bit and then clear her throat, and she's going to confidently stride towards this guy who looks like he's the harbor master.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, and did we describe a hair color or anything
Yeah,
for
yeah,
for
she's
him?
blonde
Well, no,
at the moment.
I mean for Ninvis. I don't remember
Oh.
if we ever described
no, you
his.
were very basic.
Okay. Well, so yeah, Ninvis doesn't have any particular like great distinguishing features other than his personality, which as soon as you step up, he's like, "Hi, welcome to Free Will Station." He's like, "What can I do? What's going on? What can I get your name and what business you're here for?" And he just kind
Uh
of seems like overly happy to be here.
kind of like Well, first of all, let me sense motive on this guy to see what his deal is, like why he's so happy here.
Sure.
Um, because he seems a little slow on the uptake.
Yeah, you're probably about right there. Like, you're getting
Hmm.
the impression that this guy's a relatively simple individual, and he's, you know, usually when people like this have jobs, it's because it's just easier, because there's either some personal loyalty or because somebody feels sorry for them or because they've managed to somehow be at least adequate enough in the job that they're doing to stick around. Like
Yeah,
he just, but he seems like he's genuinely friendly. Like he greets everyone
yeah.
in a friendly manner, and you know,
I think
even
Anyone that
when
tries to yell at him doesn't actually get very far. Just doesn't really
yeah,
bother.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that Temerity is going to put on her best kind of smile, and she's gonna be like, "Pleasure to meet you, Temerity, and my business is pleasure." And she's gonna like throw her hand out for a handshake.
He shakes your hand. He's like, "Oh, are you here for the casino? Are you here for the nightclub? Are you here for the?" And he looks around and he whispers in like a stage whisper, like he thinks he's being subtle, but he's not. And he's just like, "Whoa, what
There's
is
a
that?"
very loud beep in the background.
My apologies. I thought I pushed silent.
It's like
I will
he
try harder.
he's he says in a stage whisper because he thinks he's being very subtle, but he's not.
Hmm.
He's like he goes, "Are you here for the boards?" And
Uh, she's going to, while she shakes his hand, she's palming him a card, her business
yeah,
card, and she's
okay.
gonna say, "I'm actually here to talk to your bosses, the big bosses here, if possible. If I could fit in a meeting sometime soonish, I'd prefer that, but whenever they can get the time to it."
Oh, oh, the bosses? He's like,
Yeah,
I don't know about that. He's like, um, they're they're awful busy. I mean, like they usually manage to stop by and say hi to me, and it's irrelevant if you guys actually ever do or not. He thinks you do.
yeah.
He's convinced himself. Uh, he's like, but that's just because we go way back.
Well,
But I don't get to see the boss very often anymore. She's kind of busy.
do you have her number? Perhaps I'm very important. I think I actually have a meeting with her, and I am going to use my bluff check, and
Okay,
I'm gonna use my skill expertise on that.
okay. Go ahead and roll that for me then.
Okay, so that
Ooh, yeah.
yep. So
Wow.
31.
He's like,
Essentially, I'm just trying to pass it off as yeah, I
uh,
have an appointment with her. Could you just give me her number so I can fast track it?
he's like, oh, an appointment. Well, why didn't you say so? And he's like, he picks up his comm and he calls somebody. He's like, "Well, what was your name again?" He does that thing where he holds his hand in front of the comm when he says this.
Temerity, dear. Temerity.
Temerity. And he's like, and you can't hear the other side of the conversation, but like your side, it goes something like this. It's like, hey, hey, Lieutenant, Captain, I forget. Uh, there's somebody here to see the boss. Her name is Temerity. She's got an appointment. Well, no. Well, I don't know. Are you're an elf, right?
Uh, for the time being.
An an elf for the time being.
Yeah.
Mm, I don't know what that means either. No. No, I don't know. You've got their schedule. And he's like, and for you, on the other side of this, who's actually in operations? Kib or
What time is
Fella?
it?
Or is it both of you? Um, I don't know. It could be any time essentially. Um,
Right. Anytime is fine theoretically, but we have
Yeah.
schedules here.
Right. Okay. So maybe it's
I mean, we run on PAC standard.
yeah. So maybe it's probably mid-morning. We'll just say
Ah,
that.
then I would be in the
And
office, and Kib would be in the engineering bay.
all
Normally,
right. So maybe you hear Ninva, or maybe you hear Colovian, like shouting over the comms in the operations center below the office, like, "What do you mean for the time being? What is that even supposed to mean? You don't know? Oh my! Are you are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Ninvis? Fine, I'll ask, but you owe me. No, no, yes, that." She's like, and fucking, she's like, "Stay on the line and don't let this person of whatever elf for now wander off."
see,
Yeah, and there's a and maybe there's like you hear Colovian storming up the steps. She's like you can know when she's frustrated with somebody, and she's probably this is probably not the first time this morning that Ninvis has frustrated her. It's one of those days where you feel like it's probably 3 times already. Um, if Kib were here, maybe you'd make a bet on it. I don't know. Um, but she's like somebody is like, "Ma'am, there's a really important issue that you should probably be aware of." And like, no, I'm busy. Deal with it. That's what you're paid to do, right? Deal with it. She's to do everything. And she comes up, knocks on the door, on your office door.
come in, Lieutenant.
It's like, I hate to bother you, but Ninvis says that
Oh,
there
that
is,
was a beautiful changeover, dear. Go ahead, express your frustration.
yeah. She's like, Ninvis says there is someone named Temerity who has an appointment with you. Says they're an elf for now, and I don't even know what that means.
Hmm. Well, that makes it interesting. Not often you hear that phrase. An elf for now. Well, maybe they have polymorph potions.
I
Temerity. I start looking through my computer, and I don't see it.
Yeah, you don't
So,
see it at all.
see, it's midday. You're here. Defron, did you make an appointment for me with someone named Temerity that's an elf for now?
What does that even mean?
Polymorph, probably.
Hmm. Nope. I didn't schedule any meetings for you today.
Very well. I guess we'll
Although
check
the
one more place.
although the Merchants Council wanted to schedule one for today.
A meeting or a meeting with this Temerity?
No, with you. I don't even know who this Temerity is.
All right, I'll let you go. Get back to work. You're doing a great job. Um, Kib, you hear my distinct ringtone in your pocket. Kib, it's me. Pick the fuck up. Kib, it's me. Pick the fuck up. Kib, if I call you, it's an emergency. Ring, ring. Ring, ring, Kib. Scott, you're Kib.
Ooh, I'm seeing
Okay.
Scott light up, but I'm not getting any sound.
Yeah, now Scott is having problems. All right, I won't call him.
Eh, you might
All
have
right,
to
well,
disconnect and reconnect, Scott.
in that case, since we can't get a hold of Kib, Colovian, go ahead and escort her through the big doors, and we'll just be done with this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not really going to put you in the doors.
I mean, if you wanted to do the interview in front of the corpse recycler, it would send a message.
No, no.
Okay, is that better?
Um,
There we
Hey,
are.
there we go.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, ring, ring. You called me back. It's about time.
Yeah, sorry. they were trying to fuck that up, and I had to make sure they fixed it so it
Well,
works right. And now, yeah, what's up, ma'am?
how did you even fix it that way? That's scientifically not well. It's you, so I give up. Whatever. So long
Yeah,
as the ship runs, it's okay.
yeah,
Um,
it works. What's up?
do you know Temerity, an elf for now woman
A what
person?
for now?
An elf for now was how Nimbus described them to Colovian, and then she to me.
Sure, that sounds like fun. Wait a minute. I want to see what an elf for now is. You got
Kid,
that fixed? It works? All right. I'm going on lunch for whenever I feel like my lunch should end.
I'll be back. Bye.
Bye. All right, I'll be
So
there in a second. This will be fun.
wait, you're coming to the office or you're going to the dock?
Is that where the elf for now is?
Oh, this will be great. Yeah, go to the
Oh,
dock. In fact, you are the emissary for this.
Oh,
Remember to put on
motherfuck.
your bow tie.
I. Oh
Stop
wait,
by
I
your room. You have
or
at least 50. Or stop by here and I'll give you the one in my pocket.
I think I have 3 in my pocket right now.
Okay, well, whichever one is the least greasy.
Uh, okay.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. And then I hang up and I'm like, well, depending on who they are, you should annoy them enough they'll either leave or he'll have something good to say about them. Or he could, there, it could be one of the bounty hunters in disguise. Fuck, I gotta get down there. Clovian, get out of the way. You're in charge till I get back.
Colovian, she like kind of like clumsily stumbles out of your way. You get up, take off so fast. She's like, ah, shit. She's like,
Let's see if I
and
make it out the door. I do. Woo!
and she like like there's a like you're heading down to the like
Oh, and as
let's
the office doors open so that I can run, I'm like, ha! Come with me, damn it!
nice. Yeah, Ha follows you. So you managed to make it. Uh, let's see.
I definitely
Uh,
want for him
who's
to arrive
who's
and have
actually
at least a little while
okay?
before I make it there.
All right. Well, then maybe these are the docking bays that are closer to engineering. Then.
Hmm.
So yeah, Kib, you managed to make it there, and you see like you see Captain Tawi and her crew. You know, as they are sort of leaving like the area, they're sort of like going down the hallway, and there's a there's a like as you kind of get in there and you see Ninvis is in there and he's got this and he's got this 4 foot nothing blonde woman with like elf like ears standing at the at the checkpoint with him. Ninvis for his point is like, yeah, they because nobody ever really told him what was going on, so he's still holding on to the phone into his comms. Wait, he's like trying to hold a conversation. Like maybe he's talking about like uh maybe he's talking about like uh the drinking contest between Prahara and Moscus, the gladiator, the Noir gladiator that took place, a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. And he's just
Well,
like,
oh, go ahead.
he's like, oh man, I would have thought the gladiator was gonna win, and because he's so big, 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 and then but like that Krahara, like he's one of those who's like touched by the drift or something, and like the the doctor, one of them anyway, the spacey one, he said that that guy could probably change his metabolism, and that was probably why he could win, and it was weird, man. You should have seen it,
And like
and
while
Kib
while
that yeah.
he's while he's kind of prattling on, I think Temerity is like getting her luggage, which consists of a single cane. Um and like she'll kind of like lean on her cane and like very politely listen and nod her head and seem like she's engaged.
Yeah.
She is not engaged, mind you, but she'll seem like she's engaged.
Kib this is what you walk up on.
All right, I'll walk
You
up
walk
to him.
into.
I'll walk up to him and be like, "You're still telling that story? All right, hang up the phone. Where is this
Oh,
elf for now thing? Because I have to see this. This is cool."
here's
That would
he,
be.
yep. Nimbus just goes, ta-da!
And Temerity's gonna reach her hand only slightly down, because an isekai would be not that much shorter than her, reach down to shake your hand.
Okay, I thought elves were taller, but this works too. What's up?
Yeah, and do you shake Temerity's hand?
Yeah,
Then you are also getting palmed a business card, not as well as with the other guy. Um, and on the business card, it says Temerity, lawyer to the stars on it. And then it has like a single piece of contact information, and that's it. Um, she's gonna be like, Temerity, pleasure to meet you. You the one who runs things around here?
I run half of the things here. Does that count?
Ah, I see. You're one half of the venture.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we have a council thing that runs the station per se here. So we have
Hmm.
like a group of people that runs different parts. One runs medical, I run engineering. The other one's like the big boss chick, cool person, and yeah, we all run things.
And your name is?
Oh, I'm Kid.
It's a
I'm
pleasure to
the
meet
one
you,
that
kid.
fix things. Um, so I just had to see you. Now I've seen you. It's cool. I thought elves were taller, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, I can
I've
be
been wrong
taller.
before.
And you hear a terribly uncomfortable popping and snapping noise, like cartilage being torn, as Temerity grows about 5 inches taller.
That is cool. I could change the way I look with a spell, but I cannot make myself grow that much. Well, I
Yeah.
can, but I can't.
Uh,
I don't know.
and
It's different. Anyways, so we need to get the council together since apparently you have a meeting, right?
yes, that's correct. I have a meeting with the owner of this station, whose name is
Philip, yeah, that's right.
Philip. Yep, I have a meeting with Philip. That is correct.
Yeah. And we're going to the room of, come on, brain, work. Meetings, meeting room, council room, something room.
Yeah, Temerity is going to kind of like
Yeah.
look and go, "Are you on some kind of drugs?" Not judging, not judging. Curious if you are, because I mean, if you
Well,
are, you know.
sort of. I haven't been to bed in 3 days because they keep changing the way I have everything laid out,
Hmm.
and I'm not happy. And then I have to go back and change it because they're like, "Oh, your way is not the correct way to do it," but it works. Deal
What's
with it and accept it.
what's the inside lane on stuff that floats, sinks, and plugs boats around here? You know, a little bit of chemical recreation, so to say.
Porch. Everybody goes and drinks there. Just step
Hey,
over the dude.
can't go
It's in the
wrong with
doorway.
vorts, I guess.
There's that. I don't know. I'm told I'm not supposed to drink too much because then I start like expelling a bunch of information that I'm not supposed to. I'm waiting for that smack on the head soon. Anyways, hey, let's go.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and she'll follow you. You'll hear
I
like the
think,
click of her heels and the click of like the metal bottom of her cane as she like walks behind you.
uh, I think you hear like Philip. You are muted or something.
Yes, you are muted there, Chris.
He cannot hear you.
Right about that time, the door opens for Kib. Haw suddenly flies into the room with a gun pulled, and you see me sliding around the corner the same.
Yeah.
And then I see the look on Kib's face, and I'm like, oh, Kib, you can put it away.
Yeah, as soon as a gun comes out, Temerity throws her arms up and is like, "Oh, like, just like, oh fuck, like sort of
It's
thing.
not for you, it's for me. Just
Oh,
Not that time, no.
I'm used to it.
ah, oh, okay.
Sorry, I had a random moment. I was like, what if it's a bounty hunter in disguise? But this one doesn't look. Hello, how are you?
Hi, you must be Philip.
Before you see an 8 foot tall bald woman in a very pretty dress, uh, with red glowy eyes, who bends down to talk to you face to face.
Oh yeah, and you'll notice because I feel like you probably would have more of an eye for stuff like this.
Huh?
Uh, you would notice that first of all, Temerity is wearing a very nice, very well kempt suit that is about 3 seasons out of fashion, and the other interesting thing is inside the kind of head
Nope, I
of
don't
the
notice
cane.
anything. I'm sorry.
Oh shit. Well, you would probably notice this because money talks. Inside the cane, you'll see a golden cred stick. That is
Ooh, I haven't seen one of those for a while.
yeah, it's floating in resin, thus indicating high status. Though you're not sure. Probably doesn't have any credits on it because it's floating in resin right now. But
Okay, my apologies. As I said, I was distracted because of my friend.
Mm.
So, would that be a perception check? No, no, I've asked enough people. So, fooling Nimbus is fairly easy. Um, but none of my people, who are all well trained at this point, well, at least most of them, know who you are. So, who are
Mhm.
you again?
Oh, my name is Temerity, and she's gonna reach out for a handshake.
Yeah. Uh, man. No, I'll just handshake.
Okay, excellent. And of course, uh, you get expertly palmed a business card in the handshake. She's gonna say, "I am well, let's just say I'm a lot of
A
things that
lawyer.
you need.
Hmm.
You could say that I'm specifically a lawyer, but I would also categorize myself as public relations, image management, business management. Typically, I'm pretty classically trained when it comes to the matters of affairs of wealth.
So we're wealthy now? Sweet.
No, 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 no. I don't think that you're wealthy now, but both of you to take a deep breath in through your nose. I want you to smell right now. What do you smell?
Engine
Smells
grease.
like somebody hasn't cleaned the floors in a while.
No, 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 no. You're missing it. You're missing. You got it. What? Okay, let me. I shouldn't have asked for. Okay. You know what I smell? I smell the juice out here. The juice is the lifeblood. And you know what I smell out here? I smell money. I smell opportunity. And what comes with money and opportunity? There is an ancient adage that happens to be from the old planet Absalom before it went under. Tell me if you can finish the second half. Mo money, and kind of like grazes her arms out towards you.
More problems?
There you go. That is where I come in.
You make more problems? Oh, wait, I'm confused.
She kind of grins and goes, I make more money and less problems. I'm gonna cut to the
Eh,
chase out here.
okay.
I've heard a little bit about the exploits out here. Nothing too major, but I've heard about certain connections that you have, Ms. Phillip, with a certain syndicate of an very dour belt buckle. That was an awful joke. I'm still working on my euphemisms on that one. And I also happen to know that you guys out here might be the only game in town when it comes to both gambling and when it comes to transportation logistics. Am I correct in these things?
Mm, mostly.
Well then,
Well,
at the end of the
where were you
day,
taking them?
say what?
Oh, I'm sorry. I turned my head to Kib and I say, where were you taking them?
Oh, we were gonna go to the meeting room and have the
Uh,
meeting.
very well. Um, I text Defron. I'm like, Defron, bring the 10-year Pebblebrook whiskey to the meeting room.
Hmm.
Oh, no, you get a reply, an affirmative reply back.
All right, I
Um,
send TY. All right, this way, dear.
so,
And oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I think Temerity, the whole time that you guys are walking, is just giving you this total spiel. Like, it's obvious 100% that it's a confidence game, but, like, she is confident in her confidence game. Like, 100% she's buying the bullshit she's saying.
Right. While that's going on, occasionally I just stop and I'm like, and this Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company store. And across the way we have the Gym Fish. Of course, there are still open slots on the second floor of the mall.
Mm.
Um, and then we wander, and I'm like, if you take this down 2 floors, that's where the Bortz is. And then, of course, over here, you'll see the entrance to the casino. And then down another level, we have a club that I can take you to later. It's fairly upscale. We have some choice DJs
Hmm.
some of the time. Let's see. I also send for Crenville.
Granville? Right on. Yeah.
Another
You
text
get
while we're walking, but I'm listening the whole way.
Yeah.
so
Probably at. Oh, go ahead.
so as you're like you're walking through like sort of like the commercial area, and you're seeing crowds. You notice that there's some crazy old borai with like weird like necromantic tattoos all over his head, every part of his skin that's visible, that seems to be speaking some kind of crazy prophecy or another. There are several people who are listening. There, some of which seem pretty engaged. Others seem to be only listening for entertainment purposes only. But there are some people paying attention.
Sense
And
motive on this guy.
okay.
Good luck.
All you can tell about him is that he's preaching something about some end of the universe doom. Something about like an ancient pantheon of death gods that are coming, that kicked his deity out, and they're coming to destroy, to crush, civilization in all parts of the universe under the thumb of under the thumb of this ancient, sort of like pantheon of death deities, and most powerful, um, and their most powerful, uh, priest, um, and philosopher. Um, but there's a common theme. Like you see a few of these people, you hear him say something about 999 is the cycle. And you actually see a couple of the people who are listening to him have that tattooed on them. Like, um, have tattooed on, like maybe all in, like on their arm, or so maybe one or two that have them tattooed on their, face right above their eyebrow or something. Um, you know, or on the back of their neck. You see a few of these. And there's an element that maybe Philip, you and Kib, maybe you guys haven't noticed before, either because you weren't paying attention or he's added it new, about the eye is always watching. You know, the eyes of the graves are watching. You know, waiting to make their move. But there's a But as you're kind of walking, and there's all the kinds of sights and smells. There's the, neon signs up for various, places, shops above their deal, and there's like audio drowning out from coming from speakers from these places, advertising their wares or, this or, what have you. Um, and there's, and Philip, you get a notification, and Kib, you get a notification on your comms unit of a security alert um, at Bort's.
Interesting. Normally they can handle themselves. Oh fuck. The Knoll's on board, isn't it, kid?
I do remember there being a gnoll who was about to get into an altercation with a dwarf.
You see, Philip's eyes roll real hard, and I'm like, yes. The dwarf causes a whole lot of problems. Unfortunately,
There's
there's money involved with that one.
you you actually finally get like a notification of what it's about. Like Colovian, like sends you is like calls you and is like it's like um Miss Depot, boss, we may want to make a personal visit. It includes two. Nobody told us. Nobody told anybody that Captain Krex and Lightning Dragon were already here when the plasma scar docked and Tawi's crew got out. I think we all remember what happened last time.
Right.
Appar- Apparently, there's some kind of confrontation going on at Bort's.
Well, dear. Welcome to Free Will Station. Time to go see your first bar fight.
Excellent. I'm well versed in this language.
Okay. We walk over
Right.
to the
So,
elevator and take it down.
meeting's on hold. Got it.
Yeah. So
Consider this part of the job interview personally.
yeah, you get to the bottom. You get to the bottom of that like level where Bort's is at. Um, and the station's a little dirtier and dingier down here. Like considering it's like past history, what you saw up top had to have taken a lot of work. Um, but down here it definitely shows some of that history of sort of being like of years of being like used as sort of like the system's toilet station essentially.
Hmm.
Um, but
Ouch.
there's a well, I mean, this is the part
I
that
know
you
what you
guys
mean.
haven't. Yeah, so there's a and before it became into the, you guys know that before it came into the even Captain Hurlig's, it was used by all kinds of drifters and shit, but and outlaws. But the you get down to boards and like out front right out front in the sort of like entry area to boards, you see the Captain Krex and his crew all together, like packed up with their guns drawn and weapons drawn, and you see Tawi's group, um, like generally speaking, almost in the same level of readiness to fight. Tawi herself seems more casual, but that just sort of fits with her personality. She won't, from what you've seen, she won't get like tense until it's actually time to strike. Something about the Patra's ancestry going back to cats. They're they're ambush predators. They like in their distance past somewhere. But there's a, and as soon as you guys walk up, there's like a you see the standoff and Gnawbone, the knoll, already has like an electro flail out and is starting to whirl it around. And he's got like in one hand and he's got a pistol in the other. And he's like, oh, it's time to finish this. Krex looks at him and goes, he's like, you better tell your wolf boy to back down. We didn't, we didn't back down last time. We're not going to now. He's like, so we're not afraid of you. He's like, and
Actually, gnolls are hyena people.
he's like, he kind of like looks over at you, and the Captain Crex's crew are kobolds. Like they're in, he's like, he goes, he goes, yeah. What if I'm trying to be an asshole? He goes, and I think Tawi is like, look, the ship was clearly closer to us. He says, that's just the run of the luck. He's like, that was our ship. He was like, look, we got there first. We got the loot. We got out. We're here to sell it. Fair's fair out there in this space. You think Besmera gives a shit who robs from who? And Crex is he's like, and Nabo, not making the situation any better, is like, I bet they taste good. I bet they taste really good. And then he's like, and I think Crex kind of looks at it and goes, are you trying to bring out the dragon? Because if you're trying to bring out the dragon, you're about to succeed. And they like all the kobolds get like really, really tense. And this is about what you guys walk up into. Yeesh.
I look at Fellup and
Hello.
I go, what's up with them?
Well,
I mean,
if
I
you can
get one of
talk these guys down, you get the job.
she like turns, looks, and goes, partner, not subordinate. Deal?
Silent partner.
Share owning partner. I have cash.
I think this is about the time that Krenville walks up and like shows up. You see a tiefling in a very, very well kempt, a very, very like fashionable suit, but it's just sort of unkempt. Like he's not, his tie is worn loose.
It's
His cuffs
sprinkled.
are, you know, his cufflinks aren't like squared and perfect, like they're not buttoned or anything. And he's like, he kind of, uh, and he's got blue, like a bruised blue skin and, very short horns. And he kind of walks up and he's like, boss,
Hey,
So are we deciding which group gets to join the corpse recycler? Is that what we're doing?
No, 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 no.
I can pick one.
hmm.
And I'm gonna look at Fellup and go, give me an opportunity to buy a share.
Technically we don't have shares. That's your problem there, dear. It's literally owned by me. And then Kib is my partner.
Kind of
Kib
goes,
actually is a silent partner as well.
kind of goes.
I wink at Kib.
I'll take silent partner for now.
Yes,
I mean,
there's
I'm
a
not
day
really
for everyone.
silent all the time. I have a lot to say every now and then, but I try to be silent. And then the
Right.
words get away from me, and I just start going. And I'm not very
And
good at
remember that the
silencing.
Knoll already knows that he likes isekai meat as well.
All right.
So give it a shot. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Hey,
Temerity is going. Oh, go
this
ahead.
is Temerity. This is Crenville. Temerity is just going to interview for a job right now with some hands-on training, and we're gonna see what happens.
kind of nods. He's like, he kind of looks at it. He's like, hey, he looks at the situation. He's like, hmm, wondering when that was going to be a problem again.
Mm.
Yeah.
One
Temerity
hint: remember to encourage the fact that the Knolls love their dragon heritage.
kind of will nod, and Temerity is gonna walk in between the group, like very casually, and like she's gonna like go to one side to whoever looks like they're in charge with like the kobolds and be like, what do your guys drink?
Hey, you look over and there's very clearly the one that's in charge of the kobolds. Very clear. He kind of he's a uh, they're all blue scaled kobolds, 201.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks to be a little bit like he looks to be a little bit more like maybe more mature or something, but he's still very aggressive, and he's like he's like, "What's it to you? I got business." And he's kind of like motioning for you to get out of the way. You're probably gonna get hurt if you continue to stand there.
Oh, I was just figuring that I would offer a drink to a potential client in need, but if you're not wanting my services, arbitrage is a specialty, and I understand that some people, some people don't understand the intricacies of what needs to happen.
And what are you talking about? And I think the Patra woman, probably from across the way, goes, I think she means she's offering to mediate our little dispute there, Crex.
That
Eh,
would be correct. Hello, everybody. My name is Temerity. I happen to be a problem solver, officially sanctioned from the Abadar Church in Absalom Station, though I know that that place has about as much of a good name to any good, self respecting space pirate, ne'er do well, or scoundrel out here. That doesn't mean that I don't have the education needed to sort out issues between two disparate groups of people, especially two disparate groups of people who could both stand to make a little bit of profit from an otherwise unproductive and terrible situation. And I am going to make a bluff check, essentially trying to spin it that I am here to help both sides.
Okay.
I am going to use my expertise, burning another one of my points, my inspiration or what resolve. And on top of that, I can re-roll this result after I roll my inspiration because I have, if I want to, because I have the ability. It's near the bottom here. It is comedic timing.
Right?
So let's see here. Bluff. Okay. You know what? I'm happy with a 28. Temerity is going to pull out two business cards and hold them. She's going to stand perfectly, like the exact distance between the two groups, hold out a business card between two fingers, reaching her arms out, and kind of make it so that both of the captains have to walk towards her to grab one of the business cards.
Howie actually sends one of her crewmen to grab it. Like holding her stance perfectly where she's at, seeming very casual at the moment, but you know, it that's you don't know. Like, but she sends like I think she sends like a maybe a an android over to grab it from you, and like the crew members kind of grabs it, comes back, and is like and hands it to her. Crex him walks over himself
Mm-hmm.
slowly with his gun still drawn and keeping a close eye on all of them. And when he takes the card from your hand, he about snatches it out and then slowly walks back and slowly like backs up back to his group. And he's
Now,
like,
the question is, I want to hear both sides of the story, but I don't want to hear it out here, because yelling at each other outside makes us all look like a bunch of jackasses. I think we should all go inside. We'll put a round of drinks on Philip's tab over here, and then we'll figure out who owes who what, who's got what rights where, and what scavenging goes on with who. Does that sound fair to everyone? Because I'm not trying to get shot, but I'm also not moving from between you guys.
like I think there's a like I think Tawi is like, if and you don't mind, I'd rather it be a more smaller conversation. There's enough attitudes out here. And she looks at, um, first she looks at like her own like Noel, and then she looks at like Crex's people. Um, Give me a sense motive here.
Oh, for sure. And I'll add my expertise die onto that
All right.
because I have resolve out the wazoo. Um, that's 21.
All right. So she's pretty much like she's got it figured out that like she knows that it would be that Nob that her Knoll first mate is probably just going to continue exacerbating the situation. You know, and she's also well aware of. She also seems concerned that Crex's men behind him makes him seems to make him more um, aggressive.
Mm,
Like you're kind of like figuring out that neither of them can show weakness, to in front of their people, but their people are going to push for more aggressive action. They're not going to get anywhere with them being there for the negotiation. So she's trying to intimate that she'd rather talk with just Crex and leave the rest of the crew out of it on either side. Um, but you get the impression that Crex is not going to be is not going to be particularly receptive to that. So he's going to be the one you're going to need to like. You're going to either need to figure out how to convince her that it's cool to have everybody there and it's not going to be that big of a problem, or convince him that it's probably a better idea to have the crew wait outside while this thing gets sorted.
Crex. Question for you.
He kind of looks at you suspiciously. What?
Opposed would you be to a one-on-one meeting? At this point, three's a crowd, but 10 to 15 is a fucking lot.
And he's like, I think his response is, "Oh, anything we can say in front of my crew." So
I'm
give
gonna make
me,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna make a diplomacy check.
okay,
Uh, and then I can re-roll this because once again, actually no, I can't. I cannot re-roll this one, so I'll just make the diplomacy.
all right,
22.
all
Yeah,
right,
okay. And I'm gonna be like, well, see, here's the thing. Whenever we start getting paperwork out, typically it's just gonna be me, you, and her. The other captain's a she, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
me, you, and her. And at the end of the day, do you really want. Listen, I've run with some pretty rough crews before. Once paperwork gets out, people start getting bored, and once people start getting bored, they become a bit of a handful. You understand. You don't want to have to deal with your guys getting bored and frustrated, do you? They could just have a drink here.
Let me look at this real quick. Because his attitude adjusts this, so I need to know what the base
Ooh,
is.
I do get, if we are counting
Okay.
attitude adjustment, I do with diplomacy checks count as moving their attitude 1 to 2 further, depending on the DC. So if I pass, I move it 2 forward instead of 1.
Right, but that's the normal pass by 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And I need, where is that? 4, because I need, I always forget what the adjustment is for various attitudes. Conditions, skill. Mental attitude. Hmm. And the 22 is and that's just it. You have any other bonuses or dice or anything? Expertise dice or anything?
I unfortunately cannot roll expertise on my diplomacy yet.
Ah, okay. All right. Um, let's see.
Unless you want to give me a bonus for succeeding so many checks in a row. Because I have done pretty well so far.
I think what I think what he's to me like. I think he's like he goes, we're pirates. This isn't a matter of paperwork. It's a matter of the unwritten. It's a matter of the law, the code of pirates. You know, he goes, you knew that. She knew that was our score. We set that up weeks in advance.
But,
Did all of the research on all of the shipping lanes.
mm-hmm. But what did she do to get it?
He was like, oh please, it's not like she's like, oh please, it's not like I sat there and just listened in on every conversation you ever had. It says, I happened to be in the neighborhood. I saw the opportunity. I took it. And he's like, liar. I don't think he's like, I know you've got, he goes, I know how you operate. You're always looking at somebody else's score. Always going after the other, always letting somebody else do all the research so you don't have to. She, she's like, I take that. She says, slander. I call that slander. Defaming my reputation among our own kind. I find it sad. Um, but yeah, it's pretty clear that
How much
Crex
was this
doesn't figure
score
that's.
worth?
He's like, she's like, I haven't sold it yet. Oh yeah? Well, we already know where to sell it. We already had a buyer. He goes, in the moment you leave, he goes, and if you make it off of this station alive, the moment you leave, we'll be coming for the plasma scar. It'll be your last flight. We're
For
taking back
God's
what's ours.
sake, can we get the egos out of the way, please? And I am going to make one more feigning diplomacy check. I'm going to make a diplomacy check, and my goal is essentially to talk this guy down from being so machismo. Like, I want to be like, look, I fucking get it, but like, we're not getting anywhere, and it's more trouble than it's worth.
Do you have the culture skill?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Give me a culture roll first.
Okay. I do understand that kobolds and treasure are hard things to be parted from.
That's kind of general knowledge.
Yeah.
Um, Philip, you've dealt with Crex and his crew enough, and Kib, you by association may have picked up on this. I don't know, but their pride in their dragon ancestry is not gonna let them back down here. Like they're like, especially not Crex with his whole crew behind him, because once they evoke the dragon, one that's a big deal to them. Once they evoke the dragon, that means that Crex is going to be particularly unfriendly at this moment, and Temerity's got
Well,
her work cut out for her.
I mean, I can attempt to assist if that's what needs to go down, but I know that, and I mentioned before she started this conversation that she was going
Yeah.
to have to play the dragon part up.
Uh, all
Right.
right. I think Temerity is going to go to the other side, right? Going to
Mm-hmm.
walk over to the other captain. And Temerity is going to say, Realistically, how much do you expect to make on this?
Oh, I don't know. Few thousand. I
A
was
few
hoping to
thousand?
make a good I was hoping to make a good 10,000 off of it. Cover some
10,000.
experiences for a while, fuel, that sort of thing. Yeah, fuel, food, and a few repairs. And the boys would like to get paid a bit too now, wouldn't they?
All right. Let me give you a deal here, because it's clear that one side of this negotiation is not negotiating in good faith. I'm saying this low enough, by the way. It's just us. Like, I'm not
Right.
trying to piss off the other side more. Say, I'll give you 5,000 out of pocket. Station will cover refuel and repair expenses. Fair's
So you're
fair,
saying, and
and I'll owe you a favor.
what exactly are you, so you're suggesting we turn over the cargo we fought for,
Mm-hmm.
our prize,
Mm-hmm.
for this deal?
Listen,
So
there's two sides to this argument. Do I think that one of the sides is reasonable? No, I don't. But at the other side, I see that you're reasonable, and I see that getting in a fight with another ship and having to look over your shoulder until you have to turn him into a scrap heap, first of all, looks bad on you. The second thing it does, it looks bad on us. Do you really want to bite the hand that feeds you? I'm offering you an easy out in this situation, and at the end of the day, I'm really trying here. I'm not trying to bullshit you. I just want this problem to go away.
give me a diplomacy check here.
Okay. Oi, with the
She's like,
sub tens.
I think she looks at you and she goes, she goes, you know what? Fine. Fine. 5,000 probably in profit. Like, goes, goes, well, loot's what it's all about and money's what it's all about. If you're she goes, if Miss Deptford will, uh, if Miss Deptford agrees to these terms, then I suppose it wouldn't hurt. But you'll have to get Miss Deptford to agree to these terms.
I'll holler over to Fellup. I'll be like, how does a free refuel and repair sound here?
I always like fixing things. Sounds good to me.
And Chris, you are muted.
Indeed.
Sorry, I'm just trying to be polite.
Hmm.
Oh no, you're good.
So I look down at Kib. I'm like, this is why you never have any money. And I'm like,
No, I have no money because we tried to bring my cousin back from the dead.
yeah, but you still owe $90,000.
Yes,
Actually, it's less than that at this point. It's more like 80. But I
I
look.
like fixing things.
Yes, I know. And I scratch you behind your ear, and I'm like, sounds good this time.
Kinda nods and says, see, like I said, sounds good. And I'm gonna turn around to the Kobold Captain and say, this time.
He just looks at you. He's like, "What? What do you mean?"
The treasure is yours. The honor of your dragon is intact, my friend.
He's like, he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, and Tawi kind of like from behind goes, "It will be as soon as the credits are as soon as the credits are transferred as well."
Temerity will fish around in one of her suit pockets and pull out a 2 cred chips and kind of embarrassingly she'll do a thing where instead of like having pre-measured out, she just has it all on one and has a bunch of blanks in her pocket, so she like has to plug a blank into it and transfer it, and it takes like an awkwardly long amount of time, and then like she's like, yeah, sorry, 1 second. You know, and then finally hands over the cred stick and will stuff the larger one in her pocket.
She's like, "You heard him." She goes, "You heard her. We're getting a free refill, a top off of a a maintenance detail, and we're getting a bit of profit here." She goes, "Unload the cargo into the cargo bay here. The captain can retrieve his loot, his gains, and it will be able to retrieve your gains within 2 hours." And yeah, and she's like, she kind of looks at you. She goes, she passes by Philip, you Philip. She's like, "This one apparently knows how to do business." She goes, and and she looks at Kib, and she goes, she goes, and she looks at Kib, and she goes, "I've a list of minor instance issues that you might track down. Help me engineer track down." And she hands you like she's like motions to the android. She's like, "Get Mr. Kib here a copy of a data slate with what we're looking at." It was like, and she like pats you on the shoulder, Philip, as she kind of walks by.
Right? It's rough breaking in new crew.
Hmm.
Eh, Yeah.
Temerity is just going to respond to all of this by hollering into the boards, 2 obsidian sunrises to go. Double time.
Yeah,
Mm, 50 credits.
I think
Yeah.
Crenville kind of has a look on his face, like a face palmy look on his face, and he kind of looks at one of the security detail that was there, kind of like hanging out. They had, like sort of had their guns drawn and stuff, but most of them were pretty hesitant. They remember the last time that the lightning dragon and the plasma scar had some kind of issue. Um, it
Mm,
was like,
we all do. One of these
right,
days, I'm going to have to kick that ass myself. But not
yeah.
today. So, not a bad interview. Not the way I would have done it, but not bad.
Well,
So,
I was expecting to buy a share when I was here, so I had a bunch of money left over.
uh,
And as soon as she gets
well,
like her
regardless of the loss of profit, you still get the job.
kind of
Oh,
nods
go
and
ahead.
goes, "Well, and she'll like I'm assuming that someone's brought out the obsidian sunrises by now.
Yeah, like one of the security guys comes back out with it and looks at Crenville like really, and then Crenville just kind of like, for his part, just kind of like makes a hand wavy gesture, like, ah, whatever, dude. And it's kind of like, it's like,
Thanks, doll, and she's gonna take the first one, chug it, and then take the second one and like casually sip on that. And she'll transfer 100 credits to the guy who brought out the drink, and be like, "Anything extra is yours. Sorry for the indignity, bud."
Crenville kind of looks at you, looks over and is like, and maybe like, maybe he pulls out his compad, looking and shoots you a message, Philip, like an encrypted message of like how deeply involved, like how involved or how or whatever.
Level 1 at the moment. I send back.
Yeah. He nods. He's like, um, It's like, I'm Crinville. I am the regional manager for the casino here. I mean, we
Hmm.
have on staff house management, but we're hoping to expand, and I'll be in charge of any operations of expansion.
Hmm.
My name is Crinville.
Pleasure to meet you, Crinville. I am certain I am going to become a frequent flyer at your casino there. And, not to alarm you, but I plan on winning everything that you have and then reinvesting it back.
He chuckles and he's like, seems to be what everybody's trying to do here. And he's like, and I think he's like, speaking of which, the where
The council meeting.
the merchants council was hoping to get that's been bugging at me about possibly getting something in. Also, an update on the other situation we talked about.
Okay.
Like, so I'll shoot you the information. Like he pulls out his data pad and he shoots you an information that um Captain Vard and his crew have been dispatched to take care of the territorial issue between your smugglers and local gangs um, on that planet that you guys were talking about.
Oh yeah. Right.
And he's
There's gonna be a whole lot of corpses for them. I think
like,
in my brain.
yeah, he's like, um,
Right.
what do
Varden's
you?
the one that has the other space station, right?
Yeah, Vard's
Okay.
the one that has the sort of smaller station that's like he's been for him and his crew, and apparently whatever prisoners he's breaking out of prison transports, because that seems to be a thing he's been doing.
Yeah. You really need to see about making some ships for the prison transport people. Um. So anyway, we were headed to the meeting room. That was what it was. This way, dude.
Uh,
The
Well, it takes you a while. You get back up to get to the
main
meeting
floor.
room, to main floor, the meeting room. And I think as you're kind of like passing back through the commercial area, like you guys run across Dr. Oglehop. For you, Temerity, a goblin who is dressed in a scientist robe, slippers, has a needle gun on his side, and he seems to be he's carrying some kind of medical kit with him, and he's kind of like as he's kind of wandering around, or what kind of you see him as he wanders up, and he's like, "Oh hey, Mr. Defoe, this fellow kid, what's going on?" Like,
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
he's like, I was doing all right. Did you know that Did you know that there's like a number of like people here that don't know the basics on how to make the basics on how to make uh fuck was it? Don't know the basics on making Luxtasy? Like I
Oh,
thought that was
the second he says Luxtasy, Temerity's ears like perk up. Like
it's like,
visibly she stops, takes a very long drink of her second obsidian sunrise, and goes, "You don't say."
oh, I mean, like there aren't really laws per se here, so like I mean, and he was like, but anyway, like, I had to transfer a couple of the medical staff out back to security because they didn't know what they were doing. Like
I see.
we were trying to make a batch for sale, but like they messed it up and
Wait,
it's a
so
little behind.
you happen to be the Sorry, do you mind if I ABC my way into this conversation briefly?
He turns around and he looks at you and he stares for a minute. He stares for a minute. He goes, "Oh, He goes, and he kind of looks at you for a minute and goes 35. And he turns around and he looks into the crowd and he kind of looks around like he's looking for something. And he goes, and he kind of like, you can't tell what he's looking at or for. He's like, 36, 37.
Uh,
And he's just kind of looking around and he's like,
Hi. I'm Temerity. Nice to meet you. I am a lawyer.
huh? Oh, hey, I'm, my name is Dr. Oglehop. Um, like I don't run the medical department. That's like this Dr. Curad, but like I work in it and I work in the drug lab.
Drug lab, you say? Well, that sounds interesting. You know, and I'm gonna hand him a card and immediately be like, so, you would be the man to talk to about maybe getting, I don't know, a friendly little sampler package, would you?
He goes, oh man, well that's like, ooh, he goes, I mean, it depends on what you want samplers of. I'll have to run up the cost on it and stuff. Cause I
All of it.
mean, like it's a business apparently.
No, of
Like, and he
course.
looks at Philip, and he's like, and kind of shrugs. He's like, uh, and kind of looks at
Maybe.
and yeah, he starts like uh he starts like pulls out a data pad and starts typing on it for a minute, and then he stops. He goes, "Ooh, well, that's where that file was." And he starts like poking around on his tab. He goes, "Oh, I thought I lost this. I was gonna have to start all over again." No. Oh no,
Temerity,
that's the biological research. That's not what I was looking for.
Temerity's gonna be like, how about this? What if I give you 1,000 for a sampler, just as much as 1,000 will give me, and then 1,000 for Luxtasy? That sound fair?
He's like, uh, he's like, uh, sure. Like, I think we can do that. He's like, you have to give me some time though. Like, they screwed up the last batch.
Oh, don't
Did I
worry.
mention that?
Yeah. You know, you can send it to my room, which will be
Oh,
and like look over at Philip and be like, where is
and
my room?
felt and uh and Dr. Oglehop looks at you. And goes, did I mention I had to transfer a couple of people out of the drug lab back to security because they weren't cutting it?
God damn it.
Yeah, you said you were about to go start the new batch.
Oh yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yep,
Oh
that's
man,
what you said.
well I better go get started.
All right.
Kind of like ambles off.
Come see us when you're done. Bye. Bye. That was Dr.
Interesting.
Oglehop.
Oh, go
He's a
ahead.
creature of pure um, natural grace. Unfortunately, that's all.
Well, he seems lovely, and from his demeanor, I'm assuming that his stash works quite well.
What's the word term? Permafried, I believe he was looking for.
Ah,
But it doesn't
perfect.
interfere with his doctoring, so
Yeah, she'll finish her second obsidian sunrise and just set the glass literally anywhere and be like, "Well, I'm pre-gamed."
that's about the time we make it to.
You managed to make it to the meeting room, um, and when you get in, um, were you going to meet with the merchant council, or were you just like meeting to discuss the like wider issue, the wider situation with Temerity.
Oh no! I immediately walk into the meeting room with counsel.
Oh, okay, merchant council. All right.
Very well, I'm here. What's going on?
Well, the moment you walk in, there's already like some argument going on. It's like, look, all I'm saying is that all I'm saying is that you're trying to sell weapons right next to the grocery store. Do you have any idea explosives the right next to where my shop is? You have any idea how many hazardous chemicals that we've got there? There's a come on. There's like and the like a door. Come on, Baragor. And Baragor's like it's like, "Oh, it's not my fault you chose the unit next to mine. Besides, it's not just I don't just sell explosives." He goes, it's a fully interactive, I have a fully interactive learning center where kids of all kinds can learn everything about explosives, how to make them, how to handle them safely, properly, what the, history is behind them, when the proper usage of they are, the benefits of explosives, all the works of it. And the human that he's arguing with is just like, no. He goes, you have a 15-minute video that serves as a promotional ad for why explosives are good. I hardly call that a learning experience. Families live on this station too, And if he goes, he's like, the chemicals that I'm
I,
selling.
I have a little to education about him would be better handling of it for to have it. Listen, if you know how to handle explosives, you get educated on handling them better, then it won't go kaboom as easily. Just
He's
saying.
like, It's like, and I think that like the two of them are kind of like, and Baragor's just like, and he's a dwarf, and he's like, see, he look, the, Mr. Kibsel for my explosives learning center, no, isn't he? Well, he goes, and it's like, and I think
First of
like
all, if you're going to have a learning center, you're going to have to actually employ a teaching degree. And you're going to have to require it to be more than a 15-minute video. And that's just off the top of my head. Second of all, there should have been reinforced steel plating and bomb protection placed in the walls between your wall and his wall. I don't know why we're fighting about this. I wouldn't have allowed it to go in this way if I didn't have all the protections and proper things in place to make sure that you didn't blow a hole in my ship.
Wait, I remember building that place. Yeah, it does. I remember putting it together. It's good. Why are we arguing about it? Your groceries are safe. There's a little thing in the middle. I remember building that.
And also, just so you know, no one under the age of 16 should be taking this class anyway. If you want to try and have a highty-tighty children's class, then it should just be about don't touch things that go boom.
I think Baragor kind of looks a little put out, and I think Valen Sewer probably clears his throat. The Gemfish Trade Consortium clears his throat. He's like,
Uh,
uh,
ah,
uh,
number two.
he's like, he kind of looks at it, he kind of scowls at that. He's like, we have bigger concerns on our plate. And he's like, he looks at Zerk, and Zerk just kind of like casually shrugs and goes,
Very well. And I walk over and I sit down in my seat and I say, let's call this meeting to order.
Is there a rolling bar in this room?
bar? No.
"Mm,
Damn.
no, if we'd made it to the other room, there was whiskey in there.
Yeah,
Well,
But that's
Temerity
the other
is
room.
very clearly looking for a drink and disappointed that she can't find one.
well, I think as soon as you call it to order, like everybody kind of sits down. Baragor and the human he was arguing with are kind of like staring daggers at each other across the table. And Zerk kind of like sits down and he's like, actually, like everybody sits down. Zerk sits in his chair, but he like kind of props his feet up on the table, and leans back, and he's like, "We were all wondering if there was going to be some point in time where we were going to have some kind of station wide news or entertainment programming going on. Reason we're wondering is, well, advertisement. Foot traffic is good, business is decent, but it could always be better, and you know how it is. Nothing drives sales
Ah,
quite like advertisement. Boots, not everybody that comes through here knows where they should be, where to buy their supplies at, or you know where the best deals are, any kind of um, or those sorts of things. Yeah, the sort of things any business wants to get their message out about what they're offering, and you know well, how that can be a benefit to the potential customer. We
well, T, Temerity,
And
right?
Temerity
Tamira?
is gonna, yeah, yeah.
Temerity.
Temerity is
Yeah, I
gonna
had it
kind
right.
of
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
Here's
Temerity's
your
gonna like
second,
turn
like,
around.
challenge.
Oh, advertisement, my bread and butter. Let me guess. You just need a simple .NET directory to make sure that people can find what's there on an easy listing. Probably linked up with some sort of map. Probably somebody who's good at computers could hack it together in about a day. Make it an intranet so that it all is linked up to the ship itself. Something like that.
well, and I think he kind of I think he Valen Sore speaks
Oh,
up at this
my
point.
apologies, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. This is our new head of HR.
Howdy, I'm Temerity, and she's gonna walk around giving everybody a business card, and she's gonna be like, first and foremost, I'm a lawyer and a mitigator. If any of you have any problems or questions, my office doors are always open. I don't sleep.
They all kind of like look at each other for a minute, and Valen Sore speaks up and he goes, I appreciate your he goes, your plan. It sounds reasonable. And he looks at Kib and he goes, but I'm afraid I'm afraid the infosphere on this station is locked down.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, for you, it's locked down. We're still working out bugs to to where people can't just walk in there and then change the data in there. I'm still working on it. It's not like a walk in the park. Oh, here's the information. We got to put protocols and back doors and front doors and side doors and triangle doors and different doors so they go down the right path. And I should have it in 3 days, and then you'll have access to the info thingy sphere. Yeah,
See,
I'm.
he should have it in
Uh,
3 days, and you'll have access to the info net sphere.
so and I think Baragor probably pops up. So you get this thing up and running in 3 days. Then he goes, what's this gonna look like as far as getting our advertisements onto this infosphere in the directory? How much
Well,
So
space are we each going to be allotted? Or is it a system where we have to buy a certain amount of advertising space? What about billboards, like moving billboards with signs, you know, perhaps in the docking bay area.
now that is an excellent, excellent idea. Baragor, was it?
Yeah, Better Gore's goods.
Kind of goes, I think that's fantastic. Now, if I had my druthers, and I'm a little bit new here, so I might be a little in the weird. But, and she's gonna look at Philip as she says this. If I had to guess, digital real estate is about how much you can curate, and then everything past that that's physical land is going to actually have to be purchased. If I had to guess.
I shrug.
Yeah, space
Acceptable.
station. Space is limited, so you guys, whatever you can
Yeah.
afford to purchase up from us, good enough.
Oh,
Everything
well,
past that on the online, it's just going to be whatever footprint you can curate. At that point, seems like a pretty healthy little race to me.
all right then. So, have you got any rates for how much you'd be charging for real estate for for large moving, well, for any kind of advertisement? He goes,
You'll have that list in 3 days as well.
Zerk kind of looks at it and goes, kind of looks around and there are a few other matters to clear up. Um, he says, noise volume. Everybody's got their own squawkers, as it were, uh, to advertise their goods. Getting to be a little bit noisy. It's getting to be a little bit noisy down there.
I noticed that as well. I could barely hear the rantings of the priest.
Well, I'm not necessarily counting that as anything more than the odd entertainment, but well, too much noise, nobody can understand what anybody's barkers are say audio barkers are saying.
Okay, so if we limit that and say you use the infosphere to advertise your store, then would if different people advertise different things on the infosphere that other people can access and look it up and see the advertisements, would there need to be people outside the store going, "Hey, come here and buy this and blah blah blah"? That would reduce most of the that type of chatter.
Well, it's
Customers can talk all they want. I mean, that's their free will and decide, "Oh, I'm going to shop over there." Or am I confused?
What is our
uh,
hydroponics
No,
situation
I
like?
agree with you 100%, Kib. Noise pollution is horrible,
One
and having an acceptable amount of advertisement would eliminate at least most of that noise pollution.
One other question. What is our hydroponics looking like, Captain? Because I know what we do there back in Absalom Station, but I don't know if it would work out here.
No, we are currently invested in several companies, and I pointed a few of them,
Well,
who provide us with a large portion of our actual food. We also outsource to the local planet, and that gets us a little bit, but they were not prepared for the station to become the metropolis of commerce that it is starting to become.
I was going to suggest something that might benefit everybody here. But I need everybody to hold on to your chests, to stay seated, because I'm about to say the scariest word that anyone at a business table can hear. It might need taxes. Gasp! Shock!
taxes. We're already paying rent for rent and utilities to the station.
But you haven't even heard my idea yet. You want to deal with noise pollution, and you want to bring more people into the area. I think that this place needs to be a little bit more destination and a little bit less port of convenience. I'm thinking an infrastructure of, say, a slightly increased hydroponics budget to where we can start growing some green foliage in common spaces. That way it absorbs some of the noises. Works like a charm on Absalom Station, but if everyone here is a little too tight to afford that, I understand times are hard, and you know, she's gonna lean into that.
I think
Mm.
I think Baragor kind of is scratching his chin and looking a little and looking contemplative. The human across from him looks fairly suspicious. Zerk appears to be incredibly casual.
Mm.
The representative,
Well,
Valen Stewart, who's
the
of the Gemfish Trade Consortium, who is also a human. Um, he's, I think his
incredibly
probably,
suspicious.
well, sort of. Of all of them, like he's probably like, I'm trying to think where I was going with that. Oh, lost it. Um, I think he's probably like got this look on his face like maybe he's not maybe of all of them he seems to be the one that's most annoyed by this, this sort of comment. Like Zerk, it doesn't seem to phase Zerk at all.
Mm.
Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company. And from what you've heard about from what you've heard about them, either because they're as small as they say they are and they're not worried about much, or because they're as rich as other people say they are, they're not worried about much. But they never seem to sweat things like this. Like,
I think Temerity's gonna go, but I understand public work projects are often frowned upon because they are not necessary. But if we want quality of life to improve out here, meaning a higher quality of patron and potentially more spendy patrons, we want to make this place somewhere that's worth coming to. I'd like to imagine this place, instead of as a port of call, the port of call.
I think they're all kind of like look a bit uncertain. Give me a diplomacy check here. I kind of want to see where everybody stands on this.
Can I give you a bluff check instead?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm definitely talking a big game.
All right,
And I will use an expertise die on that.
sure.
God damn. I've rolled a 1 on all of my expertise die. Uh, Sick, a 28 on my bluff check. I'm selling a pretty good game.
All right. 28. See how it stacks up here. I think Baragor would probably answer back with, "You're gonna have to tell me what exactly you mean in percentages about taxes, because here's and you're gonna have to give me specifics on your project." Here's and I think Valen Sewer probably is it's like um probably frowns and he's like, "Suppose you'll have an answer from me after I make contact with my superiors." And Zerk just shrugs. He's like, "I don't know exactly what you're intending to do to make this the destination place that isn't already being done, but uh, the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company is willing to spend a few credits if it benefits our bottom line."
Well, remember, gentlemen, we were already talking about a.
You got off.
How about now? Can you hear me?
There you
Much
are.
better.
Hang on. How about now?
Much better.
There you are.
Okay. So remember, gentlemen, at the last meeting, we were actually talking about the next upgrade I planned for the station, and it was going to include a park, which will provide part of what our new esteemed colleague is trying to get. Um, Past that, we really need to start talking about the pollution problem that all of the trash is being made. We're going to have to hire some more people just for maintenance. And as far as the taxes thing go, Give us 3 days. We'll get back to you. In fact, let's make it 5 days. In 5 days, we will reconvene here for all of this.
Yeah, I think.
All those in favor?
Yeah, I think it.
Kib, raise your hand.
Oh,
Okay, so at the
when
very
was I
least,
supposed
three
to
of us are
put it
raising our
down?
hands.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Not
Temerity's
yet.
raising her hand.
Zerk will raise his hands, albeit casually. Baragor kind of says, "Fine, you've got a few days, but I want specifics before I commit to anything." And
All right,
Valensur
remind
kind of.
me, what race is Beargorn?
Baragor is a dwarf.
Okay,
He's
then
a
I
rather
say it to him
trusty
and
old
Dwarven.
guy. Yeah.
I say it to him and Dwarven. I'm like, aye, that's why I said it this way in the first place. You're always a pain in the ass.
Baragor just kind of like shrugs. He's like, "Gotta watch me bottom line." He goes, and he kind of like looks back at he kind of looks around and I think Valen Sur is like I said, I'll need a few days to contact my superiors. And
Valen, we always have your back. And it's not a few days. We're in the meeting room. Make a phone call.
like
Go to one of the other rooms so you can have privacy. But, I mean, we can literally get a hold of them today.
are not that'd be great if they were in system. They're
Oh,
not.
boo, I forgot. You're
They're
right. All right, well, fine.
He's like he he's like
If
uh
in 5 days when we reconvene they have not contacted you, we will postpone. Still pass out the packages.
he's like he's like he's like it'll probably take a while because I'll have to get them the specifics to make sure they sign off as well. And I think
I'm pretty
Zerk,
sure there should be. Do we have them? Oh God, what is the word I'm looking for? Space Pony Express.
well, that's why it's going to take a while, is that
Well,
because
no,
it's
that's what I
gonna.
mean. Is if we have access to someone that for a for some money would use their super fast ship to get there faster, so that the message could be received, it would be worth it.
Oh, that's part of what he's going to try to do. Is he's going to try to get
Okay,
a
so
contractor ship to do that shit.
all right,
But
well,
it's still
contact
going to take.
Nimbus. Nimbus should be able to tell you some stuff and get you there faster.
You know, even with a really good drive, it's still going to take a number of days for the message to get there and then message to get back. So,
I know,
um,
but let's make
he's
that so.
he's like, but I think that he's like, if you excuse me, he goes, unless there's any further business here, then he goes, then apparently I have some work to do.
Hmm. We all have work to do. All in favor of convening the meeting, or not convening, finishing this meeting? Say aye. Aye.
Yeah, there's
Me.
enough. Yeah. So yeah,
I
there's enough to convene to you know,
to conclude.
and and
Conclude. Thank you.
conclude. Yeah, I think like as everybody is sort of filing out, I think maybe Valensor stops Temerity and looks at you, stops to talk to you on the way out the door, and he's like, so they're putting. He says, so you're going to be in charge of what exactly?
Whatever you
HR.
need me to be.
He's like, goes, he says, I think because if they're putting you in charge of this mess, and he kind of looks at and he kind of like gestures it towards sort of like to express like the merchants council. He goes, then it'll be well, and he goes, then hopefully we'll be able to have a decent working relationship. He says, and he kind of looks over at Philip and Kib. He goes, those two don't seem to ever have the time.
Oh, don't worry. I don't sleep. That wasn't a joke. I have nothing but time.
He goes, he's like, he's like, he hands you his card. He goes, it's like, formal introduction. I am Valen Sewer. I am the representative for the Gemfish Trade Consortium here.
Pleasure to meet you. And be like, I'm Temerity, graduated at part of my class at Abadar Corp, and kind of gives like a winning smile. Like that's obviously a joke.
He kind of he kind of smiles back. He's like, uh, and he's like, I look for. He goes, he kind of looks around. And he's like, well, at least he goes. It'd be nice to to finally have somebody who has the time for our concerns. And and like maybe he says that kind of low, um, but he smiles and shakes your hand, and he goes to find his way out.
Hmm.
Um, Barrigor just kind of like looks at you as he walks by, kind of eyeballs you, and he sort of like rubs his hands on his pants and whatnot. He's like, he goes, if you're ever in need for explosives or want to learn more about them, stop by. He goes, I'd like to show you my learning center. And goes, goes, I know they're not convinced on the idea, but hopefully I can convince you on it. And he kind of like he rubs his hands on his pants and offers a handout.
Oh yeah, for sure she will shake his hand heartily, way more heartily than her frame gives her any right to.
Give him a cheeseburger.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he kind of walks out. Um, he kind of leaves, and it's just and it gets down to just the three of you and Crenville, who has kind of been like shadowing at this point. He's like,
So, Crenville, what
so
do you think so far?
he's like, he goes, I don't even know. He's like, have you briefed her on the current situations? How much are you intending to brief her on the current situations regarding the station?
Told you, for now, we'll stick with what I said before. Uh, she'll get a packet that I'll have Kib put together. I'll send you a copy, but it won't be anything too crazy. Um, Here in a little bit, I'll have DeFron show up so we can get her properly roomed and all of that. Um, Other than that, it's still a wait and see for the both of us.
And he kind of looks at
But
you.
anyway, I know you're busy. Go ahead. He looks at me.
Yeah, well, he looks at you, Temerity. He goes,
Hmm.
so, well, I suppose we should start with the obvious things, the things easy enough to figure out. The freewheel station has is working on the diplomatic situation. Currently, the League of Helladis believes that we had something to do with the assassination of one of their oligarchs,
Eh?
and he kind of looks at Philip, and
Well,
he's like,
Wait, 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 wait,
we
wait.
didn't.
Wait, Philip, I've wanted to do
Yeah.
this ever since I joined law school. Give me a credit.
You have a
Okay.
credit?
Here's a credit.
Okay, you've got me on retainer now. Anything I say is completely admissible in a court of law. I am not allowed to betray your interest whatsoever, and I hold that true to every court. If there is one thing I am most certain of, it's that motherfucking judge ain't gonna catch us.
Hmm. I say it's something for you to work on in your moments of not being busy.
Oh,
But
those don't exist.
Right. So, what?
who?
Okay, cool.
regardless of the circumstances, which I'm sure they will decide on what how much detailed information. The League of
Not
Helladis
need to
believes
kill her.
Yeah,
What?
I think. So you just say we did not mean to kill her. She's just gonna go like, oh, okay. Well, that's a good start.
they regardless they believe that we had some there's a certain amount of accusations that we had something to do with the assassination for political reasons that go back to the Pact Worlds. I assure you, the
Wasn't
Pact,
political.
well, the League of Helladis, the Pact Worlds, and the Marixa Republic will not do business with us.
Mm.
However, the Verilax Concordance has offered an agreement, but they have terms, and the Velquin Empire does business with us. However, they are wrapped up in a war with
And
the
the
Girin
Viscarium.
Empire.
I was about to say, what about the Vescarium?
Yeah, we did well there.
Like we, he says, the Velquin Empire and the Girin Empire are at war. The Girin recently showed the power of their reach. They blew up a ship in system close to the station, broadcast a warning. He's like,
Oh yeah.
Kind of would
Yeah,
say,
I had nothing to do with that
hmm.
No. That was mostly on me.
he's like
It's okay. They still left.
there's a mercenary operation that uses the station as a port of call and an occasional station. They usually have a
Aw,
ship
buddy.
parked outside, and they have a
Yes, they're on
representative
retainer
on station.
also.
one.
Good.
Wait, are
Luckily,
those
she's
the
now part of the
people I'm
council.
fixing their big O space station on?
No, not those guys.
Oh, okay.
He's
I
talking
got.
about Sestra.
Oh, okay.
Says,
Sister,
Never
they
mind. We'll bring you more up to date. Sestra is another matter. She is competent and evil.
two things I
Let me
love in a
rephrase that.
woman.
She is competent and without ethics.
Again, two things I love in a woman.
Hmm. Alright, so. Anyway, anything else, Crenville?
well, except for there, it says that's pretty much the basics.
Hmm.
Anything more detailed, you're going to have to authorize yourself.
Right. Oh, what is her name? Um, oh, Kib. She's my half-orc friend. She's the one that sent us the dwarf.
Oscar.
Yes, we'll be going to see Ofka and after this next meeting. It's been too long, and I need to yell at her for sending me, a tiny, angry, fight-causing dwarf.
Can we stop at another place to get a drink on the way?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ha, go to the next room and bring us back the whiskey. Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pink, pink.
A fine year.
I thought we'd start with something young.
And I think whatever is poured to temerity, no matter how large the draught, it is gone in the first drink.
Hmm. See, this is why I started you on 10 years. Going to drink like that was 35 years to be sipped and tasted and savored. But this, I have a few bottles of this, so we're good.
Hmm. She'll kind of smile and go, the first one's just to lubricate the hatch, so to say.
I refill your glass again, though.
Yeah, she'll sip on the
I
next.
got yelled at when I drink too much.
Well,
Uh,
so far,
by the way,
this.
Temerity.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that was what I was saying.
I was gonna say
Temerity.
Temerity is like for sure drinking a lot and does seem like she is being affected. She's not like one of those like, oh yeah, I can drink a bunch and like be fine. She's like starting to get a little tipsy.
Oh, okay. So, Defron, when you have a moment, come to the meeting room.
I think DeFrawn comes. It takes a few minutes. He's been in ops.
Right. I know it's near the end of your shift, but let's get this individual a room on the third floor with us. Um, Set her up with that. Then then we'll need to go see. Oh, you'll need to go see Dr. Oglehop for a full medical review, and then we should be good to go.
Oh,
Other than that, go ahead.
by the way, before the medical review comes up, I should probably mention, and Temerity's face is gonna just begin shifting and like roiling and just like turning into a bunch of different faces and then settling back on like her normal face. I'm an Astrozoan. Some people find that off-putting.
I'm from
That is
Eox. I doubt you
freaking
could do much to
awesome.
put me off.
Well then,
I'm
I'm
like
glad that we'll be able
Martin
to see.
Short, Inner Space. What?
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
but yeah. Other than that, I'm sure that you will have some good times here. How are you with a weapon?
Yeah, I'm better at the part after the guns get drawn. Or before. Usually not during, though.
I see.
And she'll actually kind of reach into. She'll reach into her pocket and she'll pull out what appears to be like a lipstick case. And she'll kind of like start undoing it. And there will be like a shocking amount of like condensed tools in it. And she'll kind of lay it out. She'll say, "This is my magic go away kit. If you ever have a problem, and we have about 5 to 10 minutes before authorities get here, just tell me to pull out my magic go away kit, and it'll magically, poof, go away."
That will be handy, but for the most part, the good news is I am the authority here.
I think like Crinville would speak up at this point and be like, might have been handy to have in the Verillax Concordance.
Ah, Grenville, we've discussed the time at Verillax. It couldn't be helped. I mean, I suppose it could have been helped, but um, while you and I may not be as close to our siblings as Kib is to his cousins, it was validated to a certain degree. It was eye for an eye for sure.
Look, they shot her.
Now, just make
I don't
I
have
sure you
any.
shot
don't
her.
say that in a
He says,
courtroom.
Oh
i-
well, we're okay here. This is a secure room.
well,
Sure, sure.
Crinville would just be like, I'm not judging anything about you doing anything or that you had to do. I'm simply saying if there had been somebody there with the ability to, and he kind of looks over at your kit and he goes, fix you, there may have been no trace of you being there. At least ways that half of the things that occurred didn't. Or allegedly occurred.
Right.
Gotcha. I understand.
Agree.
And he kind of looks at you, Temerity, and goes, I recognize that. That's a fixer's kit, a cleaner's kit. He goes,
Yeah, a little bit of custom kit that I put together.
he's like, that's not skills most people pick up on their own. Where
What
did
can
you
I say?
learn?
I didn't graduate middle of my class for nothing.
Where did you say you learned how to clean a crime scene?
If I told you Abadar Corp, would you believe me?
He goes,
I would.
Yes.
he shakes his head. He goes, I don't believe they'd be competent enough to have a cleaner with a kit like that.
Ah, you wound my alma mater, my friend. But all things aside, well, let's just say that there's a couple reasons I'm out here and looking for better employment.
He kind of nods. It's like, hmm. He goes, and he kind of looks at you and looks at you, Philip, and Kib, and goes, "This one can clean a crime scene. We have a lot. In fact, I was actually thinking about talking to ISIG about sending us a fixer. It seems like one seems to have fallen into the station on their own."
And in
That tends to
case
happen in my experience.
and in case you needed any more reason to love me, I also happen to be somebody who well, I get information. That's kind of my whole deal. Well, one of my whole deals. I've got like 5 whole deals.
Aw.
I've got one. I fix things. And I make problems. And
2.
I fix things. I got two. Look at that. But
I
not
fix
together.
kids' problems.
No. I fix like things so they work on the station. I make social situations worse.
Sometimes. You've succeeded a
Like,
couple of times.
ISIG actually nods when you say you make things worse. He's like, and he just kind of nods, like, "Yup."
Yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna say, well,
Agreed. Kib does me.
Kib, if I may make a deal with you, okay? If you, when I'm talking to people, right, and when I'm representing us, if you keep your mouth shut, you can do anything you want at any other time, and I'll even bail you out of jail if you get put there.
I've been working on controlling my tongue. The gun thing helps. Hi, Hal. Um, but
Click.
yeah. Okay, I'll shut up now.
yeah, this is the second time you've seen this drone fly up and point a gun at Kim.
Yeah, I 100% temerity is very uncomfortable with the fact that guns are getting drawn on people, but not gonna say anything.
I look at Han, I'm like, ha, be good. Good boy. He puts it back up. Click. And then he goes back up to above the area. Basically, it appears that my drone is almost always on him to do.
Mm.
He's not the best bodyguard, but damn, he's amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think he's like, I think like Crinville probably is like, we'll have a dossier. We'll have a package put together with dossiers of the important individuals that you'll likely be working with. And he's like, he's like, you've met most of the Merchants Council, the actual management staff for the for the casino was a little busy. That's why I was standing in for them. There's there are
Yes,
diplomatic
they're actually busier
representatives.
than we are.
Or is
There,
is Bort's the best watering hole to get information, or is there someone else I should talk to?
was like, well, he goes,
Sports is a good place for basic things that are going on in the design itself. We have the paper leaf, which, as you should know from experience, has its hand in a little bit of everything. And Silver Soul
I've
is
heard
a
tell. Go ahead.
he is a excellent contact. He's always he's always been on my side so far, and he has a sense of humor. He and the Gemfish have a amusing relationship because the Gemfish does not understand exactly what the paper leaf does.
Hmm. Good to know. About these gym fish, to be honest with you, the fella who was working with the gym fish or representing them didn't exactly give me a impression that he liked you.
Yes, unfortunately, because when we first came to the station, they were one of the first ones to show up. But they tended to show, or they showed up literally as we were leaving for a mission that took us away for a month. And then, honestly, I forgot about them for about 5 more months. And when I finally did meet them, I put my foot in my mouth. It wasn't actually Kib's fault. Kib did excellent with them. It's just Kib has a personality that others find, how do I say this, abrasive.
I was gonna say abrasive. I just kind of say what pops into my head, and most people can't handle it.
Yes,
Um,
Kib has more rules as far as diplomatic matters than anyone else.
hmm. Um, I think that Temerity will be like, now, do you want that to be a better relationship, or do you want it to be a worse relationship? Because I can do both.
As far as it goes, if you can improve relations through yourself with them, I'm fine with it. I am more than willing at this point to just let him stew. When in doubt, I gain more from the other side than from him.
Sure. Does it have to be an
So,
either or do you think they could work in conjunction?
because of the Gemfish actual strategy, to use a non-game term, uh, nope, that's a poor comparison. The Paperleaf has been in business since before the Gap.
Mm.
Uh, the Gemfish are the up and coming star. While they have a potential to go Abador Corp if they really, really tried, the Paperleaf really wouldn't care because in the end, they'd buy them out and still control them at the end.
Hmm. Good to
Like,
know.
you're doing well? Well, one of our subordinate companies is going to buy controlling stock in your company, and then we're going to push each and every single one of you out that's important and replace you with our own people. So that's
Hmm.
Paperleaf.
I think Prinville would interject here and be like, but I don't think we necessarily want them pushed to that brink because Zerk is a little bit of a cagey individual. We're not sure if he would make it, if they would make, and his superiors are mysterious. We don't know if they'd make an offer. We know somebody else who's incredibly rich who doesn't like us who would make an offer.
Oh?
Have you ever
You're
heard of
talking about. Go ahead.
have you ever heard of Tira Skilled? Skilled Industries, Verilax Concordance. Or not nope,
Have
League of
I?
Helades. League of Helades. Make a culture roll.
I
Yeah,
will.
so Verlax is okay. Aw, wah
Yeah,
wah.
You
Temerity
don't
rolls a
know it.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah, Temerity is going to do what she always does and lie and say,
yep.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like and then you know that they're one of the most that Tyrus Guild is one of the most powerful oligarchs in the League of Helades.
Right.
Does not like us in particular. The gemfish goes under, they're likely to make a bid just to get a foot in the door to, I don't know, gain some kind of revenge.
Hmm.
Revenge.
Is there any repairing that relationship?
He kind
It's
of he goes,
possible. You seem to have a silver tongue.
Try.
I think he shrugs and he's like, I'm afraid Miss Defoe has actually met Tyrus Guild. I have not met Tyrus Guild, so might have a better handle on whether that can be. My initial feeling is, I don't know.
I
The
mean, come on. I even made headway with Shorthorn. Give us credit.
Scorf is is allied to allied.
Yes,
There's
Scorp is an ally, whether he likes it or not.
like the League of Helades. They don't. They're not. Hmm. He says he says the League of Helades and their rampant commercialistic economy. Says I don't. He goes. There's a lot of money and power there. We don't have anybody working and operating in the league just yet.
Well, count that as my job. Do not
Say, I'm
be
working on it.
afraid to. Oh, okay. I was about to say, do not be afraid to give me jobs to do, because that is why I am here.
Uh, I think he kind of like Crenville just kind of looks at you and he goes I'm due on duty in ops here before long. I'm gonna
Yes,
probably
so am I.
I'm gonna stop by the casino one last time before to double check a couple of things before I go on duty. Uh, he shoots you a message, Philip.
Okay.
That he got a message from that basically says got a message from Isig. Isig, Shorthorn, and possibly another member or two of the Grim Council are are scheduling themselves up a personal visit to the station.
Hopefully, it's at least a month out.
Because Isig wants to see how the Grimbuckle syndicates wants to see how the syndicate's boss is doing in the territory and how you've expanded their influence or have or haven't.
Oh,
And Scorf, you can only assume probably is thinking about his money, the deal you made
he sh-
with him.
he should
So
have
he's
already started receiving payments on that.
oh, I'm sure he has, but he probably
But
wants
no.
to inspect the facilities or what have
Oh,
you.
well, and I did invite him. I mean,
Yeah. So, but it's not clear on. But like he basically is just like Isig and Scorp Shorthorn for sure. Maybe a couple others, but no specifics on who else might be joining.
well, then
But
let's extend invitations to the ones that we already like.
right, it's like there's a but yeah, that sends that, and it's like kind of like and I think Crenville kind of like goes to shake your head and says, "It'll be interesting working with you. I hope to have a decent working relationship with you." He kind of
Uh,
like,
After he
yep.
leaves,
He gets a business card palmed into his hand.
Yep.
After he leaves, I'm like, he's a good egg.
Hmm. Well, that's
But
good to
his
hear.
loyalties lie with the Grimbuckle.
I heard that the Grimbuckle have their thumb out here.
Yes. So, I launch into the story of why I'm here in the first place as the sound slowly fades and we go to whatever Jester's last scene is.
Hmm.
I think I think probably. God, I had this just a minute ago. I think the last scene is probably there's probably a bit uh, there's probably a moment where like we get you know what? We'll save that. We'll just save that. Let's just go ahead and go to sign offs. If I remember what it was before the end, then I'll do a end credits. But let's go ahead and get sign offs going. And everybody mail me your player's choice award. So we
Yeah,
have we have
apparently I sent
we have
mine to
three of
Mira,
us.
so
Who wants to go first?
hi, tonight I, David the Gnome, was playing Philip Defoe, an 8 foot tall, extraordinary Elabrian that fucking has a space station that has lots of drama. And we've just introduced a new kind of drama. Uh, I'm excited about it though. And it gives me a chance to do things that aren't just being the talkie. So, with that said, let's go with psychopathic.
Okay, that's me. I'm Scott. I played Kib. Kib's fun. I like Kib. I don't know. My brain froze. Okay, let's move on. What else am I in? Okay, so Saturdays is my brain is not working. Lands of Ibaria, where I'm everybody's favorite little cat. So when we get back to that, we'll have the fun little cat, and the cat has no idea what's going on because I don't know. But I love the little cat person. Well, it turns you into a cat. Everybody loves a cat. Anyways, that's all my brain can think of. I think mine's tired. Next.
I guess that leads it to me. Hello, everybody. Back by unpopular demand. It is me, Mira Shades. Everybody's favorite forever GM, being a not GM tonight. Hell yeah.
Woo!
Um, so I am back on the channel. This is going to be the first thing that I'm back on the channel with. But coming soon, trademark, I am going to be running a campaign. And once I'm closer to that campaign, I'll have my own little thing for it. I did come back on Friday for Yakshas for a single episode as a flashback to Frank. But other than that, you should still check out that game because I think it's getting kind of near the end, and it is a hell of a game in my opinion. But other than that, you can catch me here on Monday nights, and then you can catch me whenever I'm going to run my other game. And that's me.
All right. And that brings it back to me. So I think we get like a light that comes on, or we get like a light that comes on in a room that is dark, and we can't see exactly where. And we see that just a little red light that starts blinking. Um, that's just kind of blink, sitting there going blink, 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 blink. Um, and maybe as we kind of like on the screen pops up like there's like a screen next to this little red light, like maybe a small console, like really old school, um built into some sort of like paneling and whatnot. And then on it it says there's a like a single word, um send with a question mark on the end of it, and then there is a hand, and we can't tell much about it except there seems to be some kind of liquid on it, potentially blood of some sort. But we're not real sure because it's kind of dark, and it hits the button, and then there hits the button, and we see a Y pop up, and then we see like a progress bar go, and then we cut to black. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Just a King Zarat. You can catch me here on Monday nights running Freewheel Station. Sorry for s- the skip, hop, and a jump over the holidays. It was a little inconsistent, but we're looking to get back to it. Obviously, things are starting to change and go in some odd directions, and what have you. And I'm going to tentatively announce for next. I'm going to tentatively announce for Saturday, the 6th, 10 or 10:30 p.m. Pillbox panel, Pillbox Panic. Um, and I think I think all I'm going to tell you for now is that we're using the system of stars without numbers. We're not necessarily going to be flying around in space this time. Instead, we'll be exploring war in a different front. Um, with that said, I think that's it for me. We have our Player's Choice Award goes to Mira for temerity. Give yourself an extra 50 XP for the Player's Choice Award. And I think that's it for tonight. So let's bring out the dragon and get out of here. Bring out the
The dragon.
dragon!
Clear.
Awesome. Cool.
Ah, sorry, I have to run between the rooms.
Oh, you're good. You're fine. You're fine. Um, cool. So we got you introduced in.
Yeah, good shit. That was fun.
Cool. So, I figured throw a few things out there for you guys to deal with and what have you. Then next week we'll see what you guys are getting up to. What like you guys have a specific plan on what you guys are trying to do next week,
Yes.
so I can plan for?
Uh, Temerity is going to put out an advertisement for 1 to 3 assistants. I'm
Mhm.
going to be looking for untrained help, which is 4 credits a day.
Okay.
So I'm going to want to hire 1 to 3 assistants, like I said, to do full time assistanting and also to do drugs with Temerity because Temerity deep down is just very lonely.
Nice. Right on. Philip, Chris, Scott, what are you guys looking at trying to do next week?
Get the infosphere up.
Get the infosphere up?
Yeah.
That's smart.
And it like totally security protected so that only authorized individuals have access to it. But free people could look at the information and that's it. Can't modify it.
Right.
The guy would
Well,
be the only one that modifies it. They
right.
would like I was thinking those businesses they would have to send their commercials to me and then I can upload them, cut it in
Okay.
half, get the key points for their 3 seconds.
Right. Yeah. So you're gonna have them send their sort of ad block advertisement for you so that you can put it on and they can for put it on for them, but they so that nobody actually modifies it but you or your staff.
Correct.
Okay.
We
Just
need to
like
define some prices as well, like tax percentages and prices for real estate.
right. Well, I feel like some of that stuff is like stuff you guys can hand wave narrative and be like,
Okay,
here's a data slate with all the information you need.
sure.
And then it just comes down to the roles of, whether, as far as whether people are going to like how they're going to react to it.
I
Um,
will tell
you can
you.
just, you can make up numbers
Hmm.
if you want them to sound like they could be or should be real numbers, and maybe, do some research on what that looks like on paper and
Hmm.
real world like nations or real world situations, but otherwise you can more or
Seven
less,
cents on the credit.
you know.
I will tell you that my first long-term goal as Temerity is
Mhm.
I want to find a devil. Doesn't have to be a very powerful one, and I want to bind it to my service. I know that's going to be a lot. That's why it's a long-term goal. But Temerity would most certainly like to bind a devil to her service.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm still wanting Captain back, so that's
Hmm.
my long-term goal.
Yeah,
We're
so you're
working on your long-term goal, Kib. It's okay.
Hmm.
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got this whole thing. Yeah, so you guys have a lot of stuff going and figured out. For those of you who are looking to be a part of Pillbox Panic,
Hmm.
um, like essentially I've gone over this to some extent, but making the character pick either a training package that's military themed or a background package that's military themed. You don't have to do both. Um, just so long as there's something there, and the unit is all greenhorns. You're all fresh out of training, essentially.
Um, is this like roughly in the universe of Stars Without Number? Like just for the sake of like psionics exist?
Yeah, psychics do exist.
Okay.
It is totally stars without numbers. It's just, a sector that is going to essentially be there specifically for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, then
Um,
I will probably play the psychic.
right. Um, I'm giving everybody 3 character sheets,
Uh-huh.
because Stars Without Numbers is not forgiving in combat,
Valid.
and you're gonna be doing a lot of that. Um, everybody gets some standard issue gear, like every soldier gets a semi-automatic pistol, woven body armor, a mono blade, and a commune.
Mm.
Uh, additionally, there is a pool of squad equipment that can be divvied up amongst the squad. You're not going to be able to have everything from it, but it gives options for like, you know, oh, you know, I think I need more than just a pistol. What do we have on this list? Oh, okay. I see that there's like a plasma projector. There's some combat rifles. There's some SMGs.
Mm.
I think I'll take one of these SMGs and a couple of clips, for it, and then, or I think I'll take there's other equipment on there too. There's only one piece of equipment on the squad pool that is absolutely required, and that's the comm server. Somebody has to carry the comm server because that's how
Mm.
your set will be able to communicate on the field of battle and have a certain level of encryption.
Mm. Okay.
Uh, and I'll
Hell yeah.
post, and I will post that link for you after we get off of here and whatnot. So,
All right. Well, I am probably gonna head off for the night. I gotta tend towards turning off the stream machine and all that, and then I
all
have
right,
some weeks with my name in it.
awesome. We'll take it easy, and
All
we'll talk to
right.
you later.
Have a good one, guys.
Night.
All right,
Bye.
all
Good night,
right.
Scout. I love you.